Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we are all about the crab cake. I absolutely love crab cakes, but you know what I haven't had in a while and what I've been craving to make is a crab cake sandwich. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to put together that Maryland style crab cake, and the reason I say Maryland style, Maryland crab cakes are pretty simple to make. Very few ingredients, but they do come from that the blue crab, the Maryland blue crabs. And unfortunately, I don't have those here in the Houston area, so we're going to make a Maryland style crab cake, but we're going to use the crab that I have available here in my grocery store and put this together. So crab is our main ingredient. That's what I've got here. That's what we're going to start with. Duke's Mayo we're going to use. A little Dijon mustard, which is going to add some great flavor, some depth to these. And this is kind of working as a binding, part of the binding for our crab to kind of make these patties. A little salt, a little pepper we're going to have for this. Old Bay seasoning, that's going to be the ingredient that just, makes this the crab cakes that they're going to be. Old Bay is a staple, I think, for any crab cake around the country. That's the seasoning you're going to use. Should be able to find that most places. I actually think the seasoning comes from Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. You don't have to put parsley. Crab cakes, you can put anything you want in there. You can put celery, you can put corn, you can put jalapenos, you can put whatever if you want to build some more flavor in your crab cakes. I'm going to go just simple, letting the crab be the star, but I am going to kind of chop up some flat leaf parsley, some Italian parsley, and put that in with mine. The only other thing you're going to need, one egg to help with the binding. So we'll get one egg out and have that's going to go. And then, the other thing that you need in this is some type of breadcrumb. You can use saltine crackers. You can use, I'm going to use Ritz crackers. You can use, off-brand kind of crackers, anything. You can use breadcrumbs, panko, whatever you want to use, but the buttery kind of flavor on the, and doesn't have to be Ritz, but some type of butter cracker is what I like, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pulse these up in a little food processor, get us some crumbs, and that's going to help in our binding and forming as well. All right, let's get started making our crab cakes. So there's a couple of thoughts. I don't know that any is right or wrong. I think some people will put all the crab in and then put in, the dressing components and then kind of fold it in. Some other people are going to do what I'm going to do today, which is kind of build that dressing part of it first and then go ahead and add in the crab and kind of fold it into that dressing. That's the method I'm going to take today. So we're going to start with our mayonnaise and our Dijon mustard. And what I'm going to do is about 3 tablespoons of Duke's mayonnaise. You can use whatever you want. I'm just a big fan of Duke's. And then we're going to put in some brand new Dijon mustard. I got to get this baby open. All right, we'll get this lid back on and get us about a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half of our Dijon mustard. And I'll probably change this a little bit, meaning add a little more if I need to once I taste it at the end. But going to go right now with about a tablespoon of our Old Bay seasoning. Okay. And let me grab a whisk and just start kind of incorporating this together. Okay, and then what we are going to do, go ahead and crack this egg in there. All right, and what I'm doing is I'm making these, it's early in the day today, and I'm making these and going to form the patties and let those sit in the fridge for several hours before I pull them out tonight and go ahead and cook those up. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and get some breadcrumbs in here. So what we're going to do is get out the food processor and pulse up some of these crackers and get them going. Then I'm going to dice up some of our parsley and get that in there as well. I will, real quick, go ahead and get some fresh pepper in there. Not going to put a lot of salt because there's probably a lot of salt in that Old Bay seasoning. But I will give it just a quick little pinch, and that's it. Tell you what, man, crab cakes are one of my favorite things to have, and I don't get them as often as I would like to because for whatever reason, not my wife's favorite. You know, she likes a lot of seafood, but crab cakes, just for whatever reason, don't do it for her. But man, they're one of my favorites, so love them. I want enough of these that, you know, kind of get what I'm looking for in the, call it the batter here that we're going to use to put the crab in. But I also want some extra because before we put them in the fridge, we're going to put these back into some breadcrumbs to get them covered before we cook them tonight. Let them sit in the fridge. Here we go. Go ahead and put some of this in here. And just kind of go a little bit more. So tell me down in the comments, is crab cake sandwiches, is this just kind of a Maryland thing or an East Coast thing? I don't know. You know, I see crab cakes on a lot of menus, but I don't see the sandwich on a lot of menus. But when we went to the East Coast, my sister-in-law used to live out in the Columbia, Maryland area. And when we would go, man, crab cake sandwiches were kind of the thing. And there was a restaurant not too far outside of Columbia called Timbuktu. And they had some just ginormous crab cake sandwiches that were absolutely delicious. And it has stuck in my mind. And anytime I make crab cake sandwiches now, that's kind of what I'm trying to replicate, is the crab cake sandwiches we would get from Timbuktu. Never can replicate it. Never can even get pretty close. But those sandwiches were just something that I remember being just fantastic. All right, gonna finish getting this into here. But now what we're going to do, it's our mixture. All right, now we're going to start opening our crab and putting this in and folding it in. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a cookie sheet here. And what the cookie sheet's going to be for is I'm going to pull this crab out, spread it out, and just kind of go through it real quick. Make sure I'm not getting any kind of shell still left in the crab meat. Nobody wants that in a bite of sandwich. All right, just going to check this real quick. And I think we're pretty good. All right, now what we're going to do is just take our crab and our dressing that's in here, and what we're going to do is just kind of fold this in and let it all get incorporated nicely. You don't want to be too tough on the crab. You know, I might need to put a little more mayonnaise or a little more dressing in there. I don't think so. You just want enough that it's going to bind and hold its shape. So it's better to start with a little less and then add as you need to, so you don't get too much mayo in there. Okay, it's actually looking pretty good. Dirty, but let's go. Yeah, see, that's holding. Feeling, because I thought I felt like a shell, but I don't. So that's holding pretty good. So I think we're good there. So what we're going to do, is chop up some parsley, get that in there, and then we're going to be ready to start making our patties. All right, I'm not going to load it up with parsley, but I'm going to just put a little bit in there. This is organic, so I don't need to wash it. Well, you know the trick is to just kind of bunch this up if I can. And then I leave the stems in there. I think doesn't hurt anything. You chop it up small enough, it's not gonna, bother you as far as texture or something like that. But I think there's a ton of flavor in there. Okay, I'm going to use just a fork to kind of loosen up these breadcrumbs that I made. All right, we're going to go with that. Now, what I do need to do before we start this is fold in this parsley that I put in there. Okay, so now got my crab all mixed together. I think it's got a good consistency, going to be able to make good patties. Now the fun part, we're going to get in here and get our hands dirty, and we're going to form our patties. But we're going to go from the crab kind of back into our breadcrumbs and then onto our parchment paper to sit for a few hours. So you can do this however you want as far as size, and just form this up. Putting them back in the fridge for a couple hours, just going to help everything just kind of tighten up, get a little more firm. And I think what I'm going to do is wash my hands after each one of these. So 4 good-sized patties. Hey everyone, welcome back. Okay, it's been a few hours. The crab cakes we formed earlier have been in the fridge. They've been resting. What we're going to do now, I've got a carbon steel pan. I've got it kind of warm, not quite to temperature, but we're going to go ahead and cook these in some avocado oil is what I'm going to use here, a little higher heat. But what we want our heat to be at is right around that 325, 330 range. We want it to give a nice brown crust to the crab cakes, but we don't want it to burn or char that outside before it has time to cook all the way through and warm the crab cake up completely. I'm going to cook these 2 at a time, and when I drop these first 2 in, they're definitely going to, lower this heat just a little bit. All right, I'm just going to cook these 2 at a time since they've got a little bit of girth to them. Man, you can start to smell the sweetness of that crab like we were smelling this morning when we made them. Smells really good. So want to be real careful when we flip these. We got a little bit of oil in there. Coming up about halfway up that crab cake to make sure we cook the sides. So when we turn it, we got to be very careful, but we also want to make sure we turn it away from us. Making sure if there is any splash, it's not going to come towards us, it's going to go away from us. Got a bun, going to get her ready to go, toast her up. Made some French fries a little bit earlier. You can do a lot of different sides with this. You could do, whatever you like. Getting a nice golden brown crust, pretty even all the way through. That's what you want. Go ahead and flip this other one. We're going to flip this towards us. Oh yeah. Double spatula, way to go, flipping it away from you. Now one thing, if you don't get your temperature just right and you feel like they're browning a little quicker than that 4.5 minutes, what you can do, you don't want to burn the outside, so what you can do is go ahead and take them off, put them on a cookie sheet. I put it with the wire rack on top. And what you can do is put that in the oven at, 275, 300, let them cook for about another 5 or 6 minutes, and they'll be good to go. Okay, we've got everything done. Now we're back. Simple sandwich to build. We're going to build it real quick, take a bite, see what we think. You can make a remoulade. You can put, some people like a sriracha mayo, something with some spice. You can put whatever you want on this. I have a store-bought remoulade, but that's what I like. You could just do mayo or whatever you want, but I like a little kick of the remoulade. So I'm going to just a little bit on the spread all over on the top and the bottom bun. And then we are going to get another little spatula, get us a nice crab cake here. Put that right on top there. We are going to throw a few fries on our plate. And voila, that's our crab cake sandwich, Maryland style. Okay, these French fries, gonna go ahead and let's give this a bite and see what we think. French fries still have great crunch. I'll put a recipe, really simple what I did with those, but it's a staple for me to have French fries. But let's take a bite of this sandwich. See what we think. Okay. Really good sandwich. I mean, the consistency of the right amount of mayo and that Dijon mustard with that little bit of bite you still get. The Old Bay seasoning is the key to this. Really gives it that kind of, that seafood kind of flavor that you're looking for. I do like that I have a nice crust on the outside, but then you get into that crab meat in the center. And again, I've made pretty big patties. So it's just nice and soft and really succulent, really good. So solid sandwich. If you don't make a crab cake sandwich, you might think about it. Leave a comment down below. If you do make a crab cake sandwich, what's your version of it? Thanks so much for watching this episode. We hope to see you on the next one. You guys have a great night.